Now, some of the most moving and inspiring stories of triumph you will ever see.
I am superstar.
Athletes from across the country and around the world surpassing extraordinary odds. Ready to compete at this year's Special Olympics World Games. Join Robin Roberts for an amazing journey of the spirit from the sandlots of Arizona.
The commitment that I have is just amazing.
1, 2, 3, USA!
To the blue bays of the Chesapeake.
Terrell, sheet all the way in.
The amazing story of identical twin brothers living very different but parallel lives.
I'm toast to Terrell for going to the World Games.
Getting ready to make history.
He is taking all the hopes and all the passion of our sport.
The unlikely duos.
I love Meg.
Changing the future of Special Olympics.
I want to change the world.
Plus, cover girl Brooklyn Decker's moving personal family story.
I think people want to be tolerant and accepting and understanding, but until they're exposed to it, they don't know how to be.
And the shocking reality many of these athletes face.
The doctor turned to me and said, "You need to accept the fact that your daughter is retarded." Picked my daughter up and out the door we went.
Courage.
Way to go, Catherine, way to go.
Legacy. And sheer will. Now, countdown to the Special Olympics World Games with Robin Roberts, presented by Toyota. Here now, Robin Roberts.
It is the single largest sporting and humanitarian event in the world in 2015, and it's taking place right here on U.S. soil. 7,000 athletes from 177 countries are competing in LA. They will show the world that hurdles are meant to be jumped, and the abilities of those often called intellectually disabled can excite and inspire us all. They are powerlifters from Kansas, swimmers from Mexico, gymnasts from San Marino. The athletes of this summer's Special Olympics World Games will come from the far corners of the globe. 34 from New Zealand, 82 from Korea, 197 from Costa Rica, and 700 from the United States. They will compete in 25 sports, on boats, on skates, and on horseback, running, swimming, and jumping. And with thousands of athletes, 30,000 volunteers, and at least 500,000 spectators descending on Los Angeles, this year, no other sporting event on Earth comes close.
It will be the most inspiring array of human greatness ever assembled in the United States of America.
All this is a far cry from Special Olympics beginnings when Tim Shriver's mother, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, created a summer camp for children with intellectual disabilities, or ID for short, on the grounds of the Shriver home in 1962.
In ancient Rome, the gladiators went into the arena with these words on their lips: "Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt."
In the last year, over 4.4 million athletes have competed in more than 80,000 games across the globe.
Being around the athletes of Special Olympics, I feel like I get to see my mom in some ways every day. I get to be reminded why she believed in them so much, why she fought so hard, why she trusted sports to be a revolutionary tool. She gave every ounce of energy she had to prove this single point, that people with intellectual disabilities were gifted human beings and they should be treated with justice.
For those that were selected for the World Games, it is more than a dream come true. It's a chance to perform on the world stage and a wake-up call to step up practice and push themselves further than they thought possible. 34-year-old Vanessa Robles is one of the thousands of athletes preparing for her trip to Los Angeles, her chance to showcase her abilities on the world stage. On Saturdays, she wakes up before dawn to prepare her gear and get focused before she takes the sometimes 4-hour trek to practice.
The commitment to a team
The dedication that I have for it is just amazing.
Good job.
She is a pitcher and third baseman for the World Games-bound Arizona softball team.
Up, Jimmy! Jimmy, it's yours! Yeah! Nice job!
Weekly practices are often hundreds of miles from her home. They practice all over the state to accommodate the players that come from every corner of Arizona.
1, 2, 3, USA!
And those players are all men, save one.
I'm the only female pitcher on my team.
Vanessa's real dedicated. She's just the heart of our team. She's tough. She gets out there. She's just like one of the guys. Everybody looks up to her.
Yes, I am a leader.
Good eye, Jeremy. Good eye.
I coach them how to hit better or how to catch better. If I don't like what they said, I will say, okay, please show a little respect.
Like all World Game athletes, she is required to raise money to support the cost of her trip. For many athletes with an ID, this is a challenging task.
I'm one of the athletes that will be going to World Games. Would you like to help us make a donation today?
For Vanessa, it has meant attending fundraisers and taking extra jobs, all looking toward LA.
I think there's a lot of motions going on, like with all the excitement, and yeah, there's a lot of emotions.
Emotions that have been building over the 27 years she has been participating in Special Olympics, pushing herself to be better, to be ready for this moment.
Yeah!
All summer, thousands have transported this flame of hope, a light of tolerance and acceptance across America. I was fortunate to run with the torch through New York City.
Here we go. What an honor.
Running beside me, New York native Doug Patterson.
All right. There's a lot of medals here.
Doug has been participating in Special Olympics in Staten Island for over 30 years.
May 5th, 79. Cross country runner-up team, 1985.
2 decades ago, he became a father to a boy who also had an intellectual disability. The boy's mother, also disabled, was unable to raise him, so Doug fought to raise him alone, even though he was a single dad with challenges of his own.
My family really wasn't on board yet. They were kind of annoyed. But when I got temporary custody and was starting to turn the tide, that's when they were coming around to it.
His son Thomas grew up around Special Olympics. He was raised on the field, watching his father from the sidelines. First, a bat boy, then a wrestler, and eventually he became a runner.
All right, on your walk. Get it. Go.
Often he competed with his father side by side. This summer, Thomas will have his moment. He will represent New York in track at the World Games.
Pick up your legs. Come on, sprint.
How does it feel to be handing it off to your son?
Feels kind of great. It's one of the unique opportunities, you know.
I'm going to LA, so. And he's been involved with the Special Olympics for so long that now that I'm going to World Games and he sees me doing it and taking on the legacy, yeah, he'll be like, I think, yeah, he'll be proud of me if I'm doing it.
Now, not everyone on the road to LA is an athlete.
9 for 32. Go ahead. Thank you.
Christine Hughes will be one of the few referees of the World Games with an intellectual disability. Christine's path to the ref's chair was not an easy one. As a baby, she was given up for adoption, spent her childhood in and out of foster homes, and though she struggled in school, she had no idea she had an ID.
I was slow, especially in math and English and science. I excelled in history and PE, but I did not know much more than that, and I felt different. I knew something was different about me, but I could not put my finger on it.
She dropped out of college, had a short stint in the military, then spent a decade marked by homelessness. Then, in 2000, after some health problems, she lobbied California for her adoption health records.
And it did say that I showed signs of retardation, I believe it said. And so it hit me really hard just because I don't like that word. I was shocked, but not surprised. It finally answered the questions that I had, and why did I feel different than everybody else?
Suddenly, things made sense, and eventually Christine was able to apply for services. She went back to college, joined Special Olympics, got a job, an apartment, and an accreditation as a volleyball referee.
From that triangle and push that way. Hit it that way.
Okay.
When I earned that patch, I've actually earned the right to officiate 12 and 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds outside of Special Olympics and be paid for it.
Last year, an athlete in Special Olympics told her he admired her. This was a turning point.
He came up to me and said, I want to be an official just like you, because you're an athlete and it shows that you have leadership. It still moves me to this day thinking about it, because I'm used to being behind the scenes, not noticed, and now here I am in front of everybody. So yes, it is unfathomable to think that someone would want to be like me.
Like Christine, many of these athletes have struggled with other people's limited and often stereotyped expectations of what they are capable of, which makes their debut in the world spotlight that much sweeter. The first Special Olympics World Games were launched at Chicago's Soldier Field on July 19, 1968. The crowds may have been sparse and the world's media absent, but on the field, 1,000 athletes from 26 U.S. states and Canada competed in track and field, floor hockey, and swimming. Just 7 weeks after her brother, Robert Kennedy, was assassinated, Eunice Shriver led the opening ceremony.
Today, many of you will win. But even more important, I know you will be brave and bring credit to your parents and to your country. Let us begin the Olympics. Thank you.
At a time when many with intellectual disabilities were institutionalized for life, this event celebrated the independence and strength of people living with an ID. The flame of hope was lit, the Special Olympics flag was raised, and history was made.
Coming up,
Terrell, sheet all the way in.
on the waters of the Potomac, one athlete is preparing to sail into World Games history.
He is taking all the hopes and all the passion of our sport.
Two brothers, two very different paths,
A toast to Terrell for going to the World Games.
and the surprise they both have to celebrate after the World Games. Plus, actress and cover girl Brooklyn Decker like you've never seen her.
Tell me if you like it.
Her moving personal family story, and what she learned that celebrity could never teach her.
Tara taught me that at a very young age.
And later, the shocking truth that nearly every Special Olympics family faces.
There's deep discrimination in the healthcare system.
I said, thank you very much. Picked my daughter up and out the door we went.
From a damning diagnosis to a miraculous recovery, how one athlete beat the odds with a little help from the Special Olympics. That's all coming up.
Gliding along the Potomac River with the wind in his sail, Terrell Limerick is poised to make Special Olympics history.
I'm very excited. This is my first time at the World Games.
Okay, Terrell, go all the way up to that red channel marker and go around it as though that's a buoy, okay?
When Terrell hits the water at this year's World Games, he will become the first U.S. sailor to ever compete at the highest level of competitive sailing offered at the Global Games.
Nice, Terrell.
He is taking all the hopes and all the passion of our sport and all the dreams of everybody who not only has been involved with Special Olympics sailing, but every sailor, period.
Sailing? How did you become passionate about sailing?
Well, I like sailing because sailing is good. I like nature.
Terrell, sheet all the way in.
Terrell has excelled in Special Olympics on many fronts, but this story isn't solely about athleticism.
Nice.
It's also about the bond of two very similar, yet different brothers.
Terrell and I have always been extremely close.
Joel Limerick is Terrell's identical twin.
Early on, I think I was the only person that understood him, so he kind of had his own language and I would translate.
He was a bit of a surprise, was he not?
Absolutely. Went to the hospital and Joel came first and then Terrell was next and everybody was running around the room saying, oh my God, here's another one, hurry up.
Double blessing.
A double blessing.
There you have it. It wasn't until Donna's two rambunctious little boys were toddlers that she learned one was lagging behind. How did you receive that information?
Shocked, because up until that time, to me, they were totally the same. And once the doctor said, well, no, this is an issue here, you really have to try to understand that he's going to be slower than his brother. By the time they got into regular classes, they would be separated and go their own path.
Different classes, different struggles. Joel working in advanced studies. Terrell in special education, sometimes facing bullying in the classroom and on the playground.
He couldn't keep up, and sometimes he would come home frustrated and say, I don't want to play with them anymore.
When I think about the level of tenacity, the level of courage that he has, and then I even pretend to complain about some of the things that I go through on a day-to-day basis, he's a constant inspiration to me.
When did you know that he was a pretty doggone good athlete?
After he joined Special Olympics, and I think his first sport was track, and then basketball, and finally made his way into sailing, where he really sort of knocked my socks off.
Terrell and Joel are now 41 years old. Joel, a tech company